Welcome to this explainer. Let me ask you something right off the bat. Have you been struggling with trying to break a bad habit? Maybe you're specifically taking on a personal challenge like NoFap, only to find yourself hitting one or two really weak streaks. And then bam, you're constantly finding yourself right back at square one, feeling worse and worse about yourself every single time you mess up. Well, if that frustration sounds familiar, you are absolutely in the right place today. We're going to break down the actual science of why this keeps happening, and more importantly, how to finally fix it. So, why do we keep ending up at square one? It's an exhausting cycle, isn't it? You rely entirely on sheer willpower, literally white-knuckling your way through the days, only to eventually cave. But honestly, the truth is going to relieve a lot of the guilt you might be feeling right now, because what you're missing isn't more motivation. You aren't lacking some secret willpower trick that everyone else seems to magically know. So the crucial point is right here. Motivation isn't the missing ingredient. Strategy is. A total paradigm shift in how you approach this challenge is required if you want to break this cycle for good. We have to stop just looking at the habit itself and start looking at the environment around the habit. Section 1, the Rat Park Experiment and Dr. Bruce Alexander's 1970s discovery. To truly grasp this paradigm shift, we need to travel back to a famous 1970s study by Dr. Bruce Alexander that fundamentally completely changed how we understand addiction. He placed rats in completely isolated cages and gave them two water bottles. One had normal water and the other had water laced with cocaine. Now, the isolated rats almost always drank the cocaine water until they tragically overdosed. But then he built Rat Park, which was essentially a rodent luxury resort. We're talking toys, comfortable sleeping areas, and lots of playmates. Given the exact same two bottles, the rats in this highly social environment completely ignored the drugs, 0 overdoses. And this brilliantly illustrates that environment changes everything. The scientific conclusion drawn from this is just profound. Animals tend to form addictions when their other needs are not fulfilled. This perfectly explains the root cause of the behavior we're analyzing today. The addiction wasn't just about the substance itself. It was a devastating side effect of an isolated, unfulfilled environment. It's like a giant puzzle piece finally snapping into place. Section 2, the modern empty cage and human needs in the internet age. Okay, let's dive into this. We obviously might not live in actual wire cages, but many of us are trapped in a modern equivalent. Just look at our basic needs checklist today. Food, shelter, and protection, easily met. Instant entertainment, met thanks to the glowing rectangles we carry in our pockets. But look at that final unchecked box. Meaningful human interaction. That is the glaring, critical absence in modern life. And the data backs this up in a pretty terrifying way. Based on a 2019 study, a massive 25% slice, that's 1 in 4 millennials, reports having absolutely 0 close friends. 0. No one to confide in, no one to share a deep connection with. That's wild. Add to that this staggering fraction. 1/3 of all surveyed people reported feeling extremely lonely very often. Think about that framing for a second. If you relate to these statistics at all, you're essentially living in the exact same position as that isolated rat in the empty cage. The formula is simple, but it is destructive. The internet combined with loneliness equals the empty cage. When you're stuck in this cage, your social needs are completely unmet. Indulging in an addiction or a compulsive habit is simply your brain's coping mechanism for all that emptiness and loneliness. The only real escape isn't fighting the habit directly, no. It's getting out of the cage by finding a human version of Rat Park through deep, meaningful relationships. Section 3, channeling energy into habits, and the real benefit of the challenge. You know, a lot of people start these challenges hoping for overnight social skills or a magically fixed dating life. But simply denying yourself a bad habit doesn't do that. It just provides raw, extra energy and mental clarity. Here is the actual path to success. Let's move to these steps and see how this builds a logical pipeline. Step 1, harness that excess energy. Step 2, consciously direct it to build a positive habit. Step 3, let that habit build genuine confidence and attractiveness. And finally, step 4, use those new traits to build real friendships, date, and construct your own Rat Park. We can actually get highly specific with these habits. The source material outlines exact outcomes. Now, what's really interesting about this breakdown is how direct the results are. If you choose to work out and eat well, you build the physical confidence to make friends easier. If you meditate, you become a highly present, empathetic conversationalist. Hone a skill, and you build attractive ambition. Or take the most direct route. Practice talking to strangers. It is the absolute fastest escape hatch out of the empty cage. Section 4. Leaving the cage behind and finding your human rat park. So, the ultimate goal isn't just staring at a wall, denying yourself forever, right? It's building a life so connected that you completely forget your old habits. The creator of our source material actually developed the habit builder methodology to tackle this isolation head-on. The program applies personal pressure to act, with the creator spending hours daily pushing participants. It creates a real sense of urgency that's often missing in online learning. But most importantly, it forces community to replace the void, utilizing weekly book clubs, hangouts, and game nights to build connection. Which leads us to the ultimate paradigm shift from the source, beautifully summarized in this quote. Focus on building habits, not counting streaks. True success means you eventually stop counting the days altogether. Why? Because a life filled with positive habits, social connection, and meaningful interaction becomes far too fulfilling to constantly be looking in the rearview mirror. So I'll leave you with this final provocative thought to consider today. What does your personal rat park look like? It's time to stop relying on sheer willpower and start focusing your energy on building a deeply fulfilling, socially connected environment. Get out of the empty cage. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I truly hope this fresh perspective helps you build the life you're aiming for.